The purpose of our gathering here is against the illegal appointment of Dr. Anthony in the Assembly Secretariat and against the arbitrary framing of certain provisions of the service rules to accommodate his service. Additionally, the association representing the members of the staff had submitted repeated representations to the Honorable Speaker not to extend his service in the NLS Secretariat. And despite our resistance and our representations, the proposal for reappointment of Dr. Anthony to the post of Principal Secretary has been endorsed to the government at the highest level. And on 25th of May, his appointment was approved by the Cabinet, relying on certain provisions of the service rules, which he had himself arbitrarily revised to the disadvantage of our interest. And for this only, we have started our agitation starting from 2nd June. And today is the 10th working day of our pen-down strike. Last time we had submitted one ultimatum to the Honorable Speaker, copy endorsed to the Chief Secretary, giving an ultimatum to revoke the appointment of Dr. Anthony before 13th June. And we are yet to receive any response from the government. So the Joint Action Committee, along with the Staff Association, we had resolved to intensify our agitation, our fight to revoke the appointment of Dr. Anthony.
Our strike through poster campaign and black badges and pen down strike. Till yesterday, we are going on pen down strike and black badges, but starting from today, we have started a poster campaign, which we might have seen on the road and here also, and we'll be continue with this. And we also serve, and as my friend have said, we also serve an ultimatum to the Speaker. So from today onwards, we won't allow Dr. Anthony to enter in the office. That is why we have gathered here to stop him from entering into the office chamber.
Yes, we agree that the Constitution under Article 187, he have the authority to revise the rules. But even under the provisions of the article, there are certain procedures and guidelines laid down by the government for framing and amending of the service rules. And for this purpose, it has been clearly mentioned in the guidelines for framing or amending the service rules, a committee has to be set up. And the manpower rationalizing committee also have to be set up. And beyond that, one very important point is the comments, the views and the opinions of the stakeholders have to be taken into consideration. In 2020, the Honorable Speaker had constituted a committee to revise the service conditions of the officers and staff, and also to revise and review the existing service rules. And the tenure of that committee is valid till 30th of June 2022. So in spite of the existing committee who has been mandated to revise the service rules, he had himself arbitrarily revised the service rules to the disadvantage of the officers and staff. And it has come to our knowledge that the purpose of hastily amending that service rules is to suit his interest. The matter relating to the amendment portion has been already challenged in the court, and we are waiting for the response of the court. Our court, after being subjudiced in the Honorable High Court, it has been tackled by the division bench. So normally the division bench sits on Wednesday. So no matter, though it has been fixed on 9th, that falls on Thursday. So the matter has been postponed to 15th, that is tomorrow. Been repeatedly asking the authority not to entertain or consider his case for bring in the appointment issue. So in spite of our repeated reminders, requests and demands, the authority went ahead with the appointment order. That's why we are agitating. We had already declared our indefinite pen-down strike. And we had already informed our competent authority about the decisions. So we will intensify our agitation. And then it is already 10 days since we had totally refrained from delineating finance and on the sidelines of the pen-down strike. So this will continue indefinitely.
In between these, have we approached the speaker or the government for that matter?
From the government side, though it is unofficial, we have some discussion with the high-ranking officials, but that's unofficial. 235.
235?
Yeah.
You receive all the stuff?
Yes, all the regular stuff. So in 2020, when Anthony was brought into our secretariat on deputation, that was because of the non-fulfillment of the criteria and other factors as provided in the rules that are required to be considered for promotion to the next high level. At that point of time, our senior most officer was just recently promoted to the post of additional secretary. And for the reason of not fulfilling the criteria as provided in the service rules, Sir Anthony was brought in on deputation for a period of 5 months. So after the expiry of the period of 5 months on deputation, he also had simultaneously he had also retired from the active service on 31st May 2020. After his retirement from active service, his service was reappointed to the post of Commissioner Secretary. So basically now, after retirement, the government had already given him 2 promotions.
Now our senior most officer, they have fulfilled all the qualifying for promotion, so they have fulfilled all the criteria. So we are capable to handle the office by our own officers here. So we are demanding that the authority, the post be given to us, that we will handle the office by ourselves and not by the retired person. We can manage to run the office. That was our demand.
Opportunity should be given us to prove our competency also. We are ready to manage the affairs of the Secretariat.
Oh, as per our service rule, we have no principal secretary provision in a service rule.
Okay.
Yes. So, but one main thing here, in regard to the rules, even if the government want to have a principal secretary, since we have a separate rules provision which is to be done in the Assembly Secretariat itself, that have to be followed. But at this moment, in this time, even for the creation of principal secretary, he was not informed to the senior officers, nor it has taken any consent from the concerned board, where we have a separate 7 members. We are not informed. We are blind. After only we come to know that the cabinet has taken decision to have a principal secretary, it has really given a shocking news to us. Because we solely depend, as I said, we solely depend only on the service rule of Nagaland Legislative Assembly Secretariat and not others. When provision is not there, how could they bring the other one overhead over us, overlapping our rules? This is the one of the big issue also. We are still surprising. We are pretty surprising to have this moment because the board consists of 7. None of them are aware, nor a meeting is being called to create this kind of principal secretary post. So, taking all the exercise, when there is power itself in Nagaland Legislative Assembly, in what way they have created this post, undermining the service rule of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly. So, we say that whatever they have done, we do not know, but as per our service rule, none of the member has been consented to create principal secretary.
Go,